What is up, my viewers? Spang here, and it is time for another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is one of my replays of my T110E5, and it is 9.4. And yes, it is another map on Stalingrad. Apparently back in 9.4, I had a lot of good games on this map. I don't know why I had so many good games on this map, and why so many of them were American vehicles. Like the last one was the T-29. I don't know what to tell you. Regardless, going about the same route as my T-29 went, and my team got a pretty good advantage going for it. Both teams have T-95s on a city map, so that's good for both of those guys. Tier 10s are equal. TD advantage, if you can call it an advantage. Most players would say it's, you know, the easier thing. I actually saw a meme the other day that had the Wizard of Oz characters in it, and it was like, I don't have a brain, I don't have a heart, I don't have a, what was courage? I don't have courage. And the one that said, I don't have a heart, he was like, here, you play TD. Which is kind of true. It's kind of true. Anyway, getting back to the game. And yes, if you guys notice, I do kind of have different energy levels and different paces when doing games. My games tend to be a little more relaxed, but that's also because, well, they're my games. Less exciting for me. Still, this was actually a long enough time ago, and my description of it wasn't all that accurate. In fact, hell, I don't even know if I win this. I think I do, but we'll find out together, won't we? Looking to actually flank, the T110E5 is what most players would call a heavium. It's a hybrid heavy tank, medium tank, and you know, depending on how you use it, I'm going to get a nice little cross shot on this 113 here, get identified and spotted. And right now, our team losing pretty disastrously. The 9-0 line, the enemy team rushing that pretty effectively. We're down by a considerable number of hit points, but not irrecoverable. And tank advantage is now the enemy team's. So our Patton definitely going to get overwhelmed. I mean, what else would you expect with a bat chat there? We have our Waffenträger here backing me up, so I'm going to do the heavy tank thing and get spots for the TD. It's kind of a heavy tank thing. It's an every tank thing when you're trying to help out your TD allies. Get a shot on his underplate there, firing through that little debris spot, but there was no hitbox, which I knew due to the tank getting highlighted. At least I hoped in this match. Also, destructible debris doesn't always tend to behave properly in actually getting destroyed in replays. Still, doing a pretty good job for myself so far. No damage taken, just under 800 damage dealt, and our team kind of struggling. Hit points are pretty close to equal, but tank advantage still to the enemy team. We've lost what looks like our 40... Yep, we've lost both our patents, the 46 and 48, a Leopard and a 1390. The enemy team not really losing anything too much of value. I mean, the 140 is kind of considerable, but our T95 going to get overwhelmed. Kind of a bad call to go on the side where he couldn't really abuse alleyways, where he was open to getting flanked by all the medium and fast moving tanks where they usually go. So bad call on his part, and the only thing I have to help me determine what actually happened this match is I titled the replay file Saving the Day. So we're going to see exactly what that means. Obviously, I do something impressive, or rather considerable, to help our team win. But, I mean, isn't that the case in most of my games? We're going to see exactly what I mean. I fell back appropriately. And it's down to me and our Waffenträger E100 to take these guys out. So I'm going to take out the 48 patent, 46 patent, my mistake. And he's going to, at the same time, destroy that 1390. Try and shoot that T62A while getting shot by the 113, who... I don't know if he was actually aiming at me. That might have been a whiff at the waffle, and it just happened to hit my turret instead. Still, not complaining. T32 with the stock turret, which means he definitely does not have the best gun. I'm going to run all over him. I am going to run so rampant over him, it's not even funny. Hell, I'm not even afraid, as indicated by my full-on blitz of him. However, I do expose my side armor a bit. I recognize that, hence I back up, exposing nothing but my frontal armor, which he will hit for no damage, and then I will proceed to ruin him as the 113 comes up behind me, hits me with that high alpha gun, higher than most heavy tank damage guns anyway. I say most, but higher damage than the, let's rephrase that, higher damage than the American heavy tank guns. They are kind of low alpha, high rate of fire, good DPM. And here comes the Waffenträger coming in for the massive ram because he does have considerable weight and good hull armor to do that with. And right here, the 113 actually going to get taken out pretty effectively by the Waffle, who reloads there at the last second. So our team managing to pull it together. 3 kills for me, 3 kills for the Waffle. And right now, it looks like an IS-3 coming to tango with 2 tier 10s. He is looking to kill the Waffle, and he will do so, ramming me. I took virtually no damage from that, whereas he took quite a considerable amount and giving me my 4th kill. I was hoping to save our Waffle, but that, I mean, let's be realistic, that was not happening. So a considerable number of our tanks left, but only 2 tier 10s, myself and the E100. T-34, which does have good penetration. Still, I'm all by my lonesome, and there is a T-95 over here, and I am a little bit wary of it, but I have no idea where he is at this point in time. The Roomba and E100 for the enemy team over where our 2 T-69s are. Are they platooned up? I am assuming they are, and they are. So they are working in conjunction with each other, as can be indicated by their close positioning on the map. And me, well, I'm just trying to find this T-95 at the moment and hopefully take him out before he gets a surprise shot on me, because I can be killed in 2 hits from him, and he does have a formidable reload time for a TD with a high alpha gun. Still, trying to be as cautious as I can while making my way over. I have no idea where he's gone at this point in time. And our team looking like they're going to take out eventually that E100, though he is at a considerable number of hit points. And I'm looking to try and help, but at the same time, that T-95 is on our capture circle, so that, you know, capture siren is blaring in my ear, and a kind of a point of concern about the T-69 heading back. I don't know what he's hoping to do against a T-95, but as many T-69 players do, I assume he is running heat rounds is his standard. I didn't when I drove the vehicle, because I thought, hey, there's enough pen there to where it's not really a concern for me. It looks like that Roomba really not running the high 15 centimeter damage cannon. Good for me, especially that means I can absorb his hits a bit easier. The T-34 looking like he might have gotten hit in the engine, though that is just a normally slow moving vehicle. Right here, I recognize the T-69 is not going to be able to really handle that T-95 on his own, more likely than not anyway. And I also recognize he's moving to flank around the left side of the map, the east side of the map. I'm sorry, it was left when I spawned. That's what's got me a little bit turned around here. But I'm going up the other side, and we're looking for a nice and handy flanking maneuver to try and reset the capture points. I've got heat rounds loaded because I'm not messing around. I want to get this reset, and at this point, it looks like it could be a defender if I can only... There we go. Get it in right there. Now, he is aiming at me. I'm trying to be a little bit sneaky, but I will take a very low roll. I think that's as low as it could have possibly rolled. Actually, no, I think it can roll is low. There we go. Found my words. As to be in the 560s, but still, now I'm running circles around him, just abusing my superior mobility, and he's gonna take it, though he does see the 69, and he wants to eat that for dinner, and taking a lot of little increments of damage there, as such is the case with the broken, and some people call it broken, ramming mechanic, and I know they're trying to figure that out. I don't know if they ever did, with it being 9.8 currently and 9.9 very soon. But the E100 was able to handle that other E100 if you were paying attention on the map. I noticed it as well. I was just too busy talking about what was going on the screen immediately in front of me. And so E100 definitely handling himself well. And I'm kind of actually curious to see how well he did in those post-game stats. Alright, because I was just so damn curious about that, and more than anything else, we're starting out on this screen. And we see, well... not too impressive, actually just barely getting fire for effect, just over his 27 hit points of health. And the Waffenträger not doing too hot either. Me, on the other hand, over 6,300, in fact just under 6,400 hit points worth of damage dealt, using my superior mobility to get around the map and just make the enemy team hurt. Still, because so much of that was done to lower tier vehicles, such as the 95, such as the 1390, the 46, the T32, the IS-3. Man, I just ran rampant on that T32. Total damage was all of his hit points. Only getting first class. So if there was a lot more tier 10s, it would have been a tougher fight for me, but I also would have gotten more experience having done the same amount of damage. But Could I have done the same amount of damage? Well, I have. It would have been tougher. High caliber, of course, and defender, because, well, we saw that in the making. In fact, I called it out as it happened, getting bruiser, fire for effect, duelist, and fighter, so those nice little ribbons and pins. And the enemy team, the closest competitor, that 62, followed shortly behind by the T30, then just kind of a lot of subpar performance there. The IS-3, the only damage he got, really, was it 2 shots for damage? Or, nope, he did get 3 penetrations. So, excuse me, 2 of those were kill shots, so not that much damage, and then the third one, I guess, was a more high roll. Or maybe, it says a penetration, but I've seen similar stats where it's counted as a penetration, but it actually does not cause damage. That might have been the case there. Still, a lot of the enemy team not really pulling their weight, especially that Bat Chat, who just got completely wrecked. I mean, it's rare you see a Bat Chat 25 ton that get under 1,000 damage. That's not too hard for him. I mean, it's not too hard for him to get over that. He just needs 3 of his 5 shots in the clip to actually connect for damage. And usually you can do that with pretty good effect due to your mobility. But our team having a couple 0 damage, our T30, that's disgraceful. T30 getting 0 damage. Maybe he was stock. I don't know. T95 doing okay for himself, but again, just poor positioning. And overall, detailed status report here, 19 shots fired, 18 of those being penetrations, dealing just under 6,400 damage, as I said earlier, 6 hits received, 5 of those being penetrations, 1 of them being a non-penetration, but some of those were absorbed into tracks and other areas for no damage. So, damage blocked by armor, just over 1,100, which certainly helped towards my survivability, especially there at the end when the T95 shot me. Of course, because I had those hit points, I was able to be a bit more reckless about it. Otherwise, I would have just waited for a T69 ally, popped out, taken the shot to reset, fallen back, and played a bit more cautiously. But I knew I had the hit points to play with, and again, completely abused my superior mobility to get the upper hand on him and on this team in general, like I said. And as you saw, just driving around everywhere, Heaviums are some of the best vehicles because they have armor, they got hit points, they got gun damage, and even though they aren't quite as mobile as medium tanks, there we go, found my words, they are mobile enough. So that is why some players absolutely love the T110E5. That's why some players absolutely love the FE215 Bravo, the heavy tank of the British line. That is why some players absolutely love, I mean, the IS-7 as well, because it can be mobile, but it's not quite as maneuverable. It's got a good top speed in a straight line, but less so moving around. Still, managing to get a ×3 on that, just over 5,000 experience, and earning myself just under 50,000 credits with premium, and just over 20,000 without. Very respectable, and one of my favorite matches, honestly, looking back on it. Like I said, I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but kind of glad I did the commentary. Caught me a little off guard just because I didn't know what to expect. It would have been a bit more low-key had it been something I recalled a bit more. It's kind of funny how it slipped from my memory, but still very respectable, and looking forward to 9.5, which there may be one more 9.4 video after this, but it's under a maybe record tag in my replays file, so we'll see if I actually do it. Still, 9.5 is just around the bend. Look forward to it, but until then, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you got a replay, be sure to check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And if you got suggestions on how I can make my videos or channel better, please let me know. But until next time, this has been Spang, and well, I'm just oh so professional.
MLG Dynamo!